Therian YouTube and media. However, the focus will lay more so on YouTube, as there's another lovely panel on media in about 3 hours by now, hosted by House of Chimeras. So I don't want to take away their credit and their panel too much. In this YouTube panel, I'd like to tell you more about what it's like to be a Therian YouTuber, as well as my personal experiences in this, how being a YouTuber connects me differently to the Therian community than when I was still a normal Therian, not a YouTuber, what content and work it may involve to be a YouTuber, some history and fun facts behind Therians and therianthropy on YouTube, famous Therian YouTubers from the past and in recent times, frequently seen Therian content and why it might involve, what it might involve, a dive in Therian cringe complications and overlook, and several tips for those of you who would like to start YouTubing themselves after this panel, or who have recently started with a YouTube channel but don't know where to really start with it. I can ask you all to leave the questions until after the panel, because it is a bit difficult for me to switch between my preparations and the questions in the chat, so it's a bit difficult to combine for me. As this is still one of my first panels, so I'm really nervous and literally shaking right now. So I'll leave some extra room for questions after the panel so I can answer them individually. Introduction aside, it's real nice to meet you all and welcome to my panel. I'd like to go over what Therian YouTube exactly is as a starter for you all. So first off, we have to think about what is Therian YouTube exactly. Therian YouTube is a concept of therianthropy on the YouTube platforms, created by or about Therians. Most of this involves Therians who produce videos about their experiences, meetups, or the like. Meetups, right. There are a bunch of small Therian YouTube channels with each often only a few videos, but likewise there are a few really big YouTube channels with thousands of subscribers. Another appreciated form of Therian YouTube is non-Therians who've posted educational and friendly videos about therianthropy, such as documentaries or mini-documentaries, research findings, and recorded convention panels. The least appreciated form of Therian YouTube, which most don't really call Therian YouTube anymore for obvious reasons, is cringe compilations, which I'll say more about later on in this panel. A YouTube channel by a Therian that is not exactly about therianthropy and does not contain any Therian content, however, is not really seen as Therian YouTube, nor a Therian YouTuber. Frequently seen Therian YouTube content is usually small and short videos of Therians who speak about or show their animalistic experiences. Other content might be informational videos, sketches, and jokes, like the loved A Day in the Life of a Therian video, which I also made. Positive compilations instead of cringe compilations, tributes, documentaries, meet videos, and so forth. Personally, I produce a mix of about everything I can think of, but with a focus on informative content while keeping it lighthearted and funny for my younger audiences, because I'm very aware my audience is probably around the 13 to 60 years old mostly. I also produce a few guides, how-to videos, joke-like content like Therian life hacks, photography or art content, and a lot of Therian meetup videos because I just love holding meetups. With my YouTube channel, I often help out other parts of the community because I like to be more of a community channel rather than a personal channel, so I will frequently do reviews of Therian websites like forums, other Therian YouTubers, or by example the Othercon trailer to help out Othercon, as I believe in their cause and their meaning and whatever they want to do in this community. Whether or not there are a lot of Therian YouTubers, like me by example, well, sadly, Therian YouTubers are rarely active for more than like 5 videos. And a lot of big and respected Therian YouTubers have become inactive in recent years. Because of this, there is a very limited amount of Therian videos on the internet to be found. Some of us think that is a good thing because that means we are more of a personal community rather than something public. But some of us really think it's sad that there are only so many YouTube videos on the internet. The reason of this genre scene is that being a Therian YouTuber seems to be harder to keep holding on to than most other forms of YouTubing. This often is as therianthropy is pushed upon by strangers outside of a community. No channels often immediately get to face trolls and rude statements which tell them to, by example, end their life or that they should have been aborted by their parents. Whoa. On top of the very small community, which results in nearly no positive comments, interaction, or support at the very start, which luckily most LGBT plus or furry YouTubers can count on, this hatred falls difficult with most new Therian YouTubers, especially if they're young. At the start, creating videos may take a lot of work, but you'll get no praise, satisfaction, or kindness through them. So it might feel pointless to make them, as it seems like no one truly enjoys them either way. I too often face this. By now, I'm lucky to have about 7,000 subscribers, but I often struggled and still do, due to the fact of how many time and effort I put into those videos. I'm more than aware that if I had put in as much time as I do now into, by example, a furry channel or an LGBT plus channel, I'd have likely grown way bigger. This thought makes it kind of hard to keep putting this amount of work into a Terran YouTube channel, even though I truly enjoy doing this. I personally know of a few big time YouTubers who sadly stopped for those or similar reasons. For example, Terranation's Ulfrith told us once somewhere in a discussion that they too long ago had felt as if they were doing so much effort with nearly no audience and only criticism on their videos. And it felt to them as if they had no point anymore to keep making so many videos if people don't really seem to enjoy them either way because the content is too serious for them, for example. After they came back for a while, however, they quit for other personal reasons, to be clear. On top of all of this, people often discontinue their YouTube Terran channels out of a fear to be recognized as Terran by family, partners, school, or job, as I feel that this may influence their life in a negative way. I personally don't struggle in this, as pretty much everyone in my surrounding does now I'm a Terran, including teachers, parents, friends. I don't really hide the fact that I'm a Terran, and this, of course, helps me in my fear of what if someone finds my Terran YouTube channel like my boss. I'm, however, still very active after all these years, even though being a tiny YouTuber is clearly not always very nice to do. Most tiny YouTubers that I've spoken to and who are still active can share to you that being an active tiny YouTuber often involves the sacrifice of a lot of free time, but it has the reward of an amazing connection with the Terran community. It involves great Terran friends, for example, and you might meet a lot of new Terrans on your way that you otherwise would have never met. And the satisfaction of knowing that you're putting out something positive as a positive example by example or information that otherwise won't have been there. And many of us active teenagers now are proud of their job because we still remember the time where there were like only a few videos on YouTube of therianthropy and where we still ourselves thought like, I can't find any information. So we now can actually create this information for other people like us. Terran YouTube is a day-to-day activity, of course, for an active Terran YouTuber like me. Therefore, for me personally, Terran YouTube has heavily influenced my life. It gave me a reason to wake up in the morning, a purpose to live even, and something that actually made me feel truly happy throughout the past years. Genuinely happy. As someone who has always been a bit of mentally broken due to trauma, this is something I could actually only have wished for. I've made amazing friends in the community, and I'm very glad of my place in the community to YouTube. I feel included in the community on a whole different level than I was when I wasn't a YouTuber yet. It's not the fact that I get recognized across the community or something, because quite honestly, this gets really annoying over time and actually has made me make the decision to not join certain group chats I otherwise would have likely joined. But in other words, it just makes it easier for me to connect to Infiltrarians across the community than when I wasn't a Terran YouTuber yet. Likewise, it has brought me new hobbies and interests into my life, involving cameras, film, and anything really related to that in general, like photography. I even follow film editing at the university now, and I'm convinced I've never have gotten in if I hadn't had a YouTube channel and some nice works to show off to them. Experiences like editing is something I only possess because of working for the community as a YouTuber. And now it's something I really want to do when I graduate and try to find a job for myself. However, Therian YouTube is not always fun. Sometimes I'll tell my friends that being a Therian YouTuber is a curse, even. Why could it be a curse when it sounds so positive? Well, because I give up nearly all of my possible free time to record a video for an hour, edit for another 8 hours, make custom captions over next hour, thumbnail and description and source links for half an hour, watch the comments next couple hours once it's uploaded so I can ensure people do not have any trolls harassing them, or so I can actually talk to trolls and convince them of their inappropriate actions like scolding at people. So imagine, to keep it simple, about 10 to 12 hours of work per video. When you watch a 4 to 8 minutes long video, you have no idea of the 10 hours that might be behind it. Because of the amount of time YouTube in general consumes and the mental toll it might take. By example, to me, friends have pointed out a few times to me that there's now like a PD and allow, which is actually my real name. PD reacts in a completely different way. PG-13, very long written and detailed, whoa. Filtering whatever I say, remaining mostly neutral, and always ensures everyone 1,000 times in the message that I'm fine, even when I'm mentally completely hurting. And sometimes I've been really cold and distant to my friends and reacted way too admin like, by example, rather than to just be a friend, which I sometimes just should be. My partner has gotten upset over this and even was found crying in the hallway once over this, which is a true story. My friends have gotten upset likewise, and I don't blame them. Ever since, I've however mostly figured out how to keep a balance between PD, the YouTuber, and Lau, the channel person who is a Therian. This is a difficult thing that I find a lot of growing YouTubers to walk against, because you have to be someone on the internet. You have to be some kind of representation sometimes. You need to meet certain standards, or you get a lot of bashing onto you, or you're suddenly a toxic person, by example, otherwise. So it kind of splits you into two persons: the person you are online as a YouTuber and the person you are to your friends. Even though I try to minimize the difference, it's there. I cannot lie about that. And as earlier said, I often have to endure mental difficulty as people are more tend to try to create drama with me, like they do with all big YouTubers. No one was still a smaller channel or an unknown Therian. Sometimes I read things online, things I thought I did that I never actually have done. Every time something like this happens, it's like receiving a brick against your face. Like one giant brick. And I do a lot of effort. I try to please everyone. I try to create what others might enjoy to see, even if it doesn't fit what I'd like to create myself. And even try to befriend those who I know may be out to hurt me or may not be trustworthy, or who I don't even actually like. But I personally find it important to be open to the entire community, as this representation I've unintentionally become, to be able to be reachable and reach it easily, to be open for conversation, to be willing to change and especially willing to improve, even if I feel it's unfair or will disagree, because I'm PD. I work for the community, not for my personal gains nor my personal beliefs, even if this sometimes might influence some of my videos, which automatically will always happen. I faced a few nearly burnouts and nearly breakdowns even by now because of such situations, where no matter how hard I worked for the community, I received a brick in my face. And mostly I only pulled through these dark moments of being a YouTuber due to the amazing support of some watchers and dear friends such as Wolfo, who took literally a bus all the way to my place to give me a milkshake when I was on the point of a breakdown. I love milkshakes. On the other side, Therian YouTube has brought me a few extra abilities during high school that I otherwise certainly wouldn't have had, so that's something you really should keep in mind. This didn't bother me, however, personally, as I already had a lot of bullies, so I was already built. I was already bullied over something I was or did, and I rather preferred being bullied over something I enjoyed to do and was proud of than by example about something my parents, I mean, or my clumsy personality. So I didn't really mind being bullied over being a YouTuber or a Therian. But it's something to keep in mind for others who would like to start being a Therian YouTuber and who might also be in a position that they would get bullies if it would come out to them. So to conclude, no, Therian YouTube is far from being in a paradise and might even feel like a curse to some, even though a lot of people think that being well known around the community will be amazing. I personally often hate it. These negative side effects of being a YouTuber are something to keep in mind, and for me, I'll gladly show through these rogue patches, as I know that the overall picture is more positive than negative at the end. But the question is if you will be able to do so as well. There are some personal experiences of mine, as well as some things to keep in mind if you ever meet a Therian YouTuber, what it's like to be a Therian YouTuber. Next, I would like to go over some history behind Therian YouTube before I go into tips and advice for starting YouTubers. First off, it's very interesting to know that YouTube has only existed since February 2005. So generally, YouTube isn't that old yet. Which is actually also the same year we could see that the term Therian got more often used than the term were, which was a previous term used for our experience. The oldest Therian YouTube I found on YouTube could be found in 2008 and was an introduction by someone called Daniel Says or something, and a small documentary named 10 Ways Short that Do Werewolves Really Exist. I will link all of those videos in the researchers channel right after this paragraph. In 2009, we could also find Therianthropy, The Basics by Therianthropyet on YouTube. And this person made many more videos in 2010 on the channel called Therianthropes. So to be clear, Therian YouTube could be traced back until 2008. There may exist some older videos, but I haven't been able to find them. At the real panel, I would have shown those videos to you guys because some of them are really interesting. However, for today's panel, I couldn't because I will just exclude too many people because of the limit of like 25 or 45 people to be able to watch them. Now, it's interesting to see that in the same year, so 2010, the well-known famous Teen Werewolves documentary was posted on YouTube. You know the one with Wolfie Blackheart? This video seems to have heavily sparked the Therian community, as suddenly there were a ton more Therian videos to be found on YouTube, and largely also by teenagers rather than adults. But while the first videos are a bit hard for me to find back and seem to mostly involve small random barking and shifting videos, often mixing teen werewolves with Therians, from 2013 on we can actually find some more informative Therian videos. Just as by example, what are Therian's basics overview and shifting from Azura Dragonfeather in 2013, at their very early days of that channel. We can also find Therianthropy a state of being as a filmed lecture in an American university even. So someone who, I think, was a Therian actually made a lecture on Therians in a university and that was filmed and uploaded. In 2014, we see the results of a Therian survey from 2013 by example appear on YouTube as well. And over the years, the age in the community seems tend to start dropping more and more. Informative videos seem to be overflowing with small shifting videos again until 2016, where we see the sudden popularity boom of Therian tributes, even if it wasn't a new concept as we see Therian for Life, by example, by Ron Lone Wolf in 2013, if I'm correct. In Therian tributes like this, we actually can see the huge influence of the werewolf lifestyle in the age drop and the general clothing in the tributes. For a while, it seems like Therian tributes took over, because I couldn't nearly find any other video in 2016 rather than tributes. And then we see a sudden increase in Therian pack videos and meetup videos, after which, to my experience, YouTube kind of suddenly died down. Probably it wasn't really that popular anymore. I'm not sure of the reason. But also, a few bigger YouTube channels, which I'll name later on, have left after this 2016 time period. Until 2018, there actually weren't a whole lot of giant YouTubers, nor new YouTube content in my experience. And most new content was easily and shortly after removed from YouTube, and seldom there could be a giant YouTuber found who was active for more than like 2 months. In recent years, however, again, so after 2018 2019, I have, however, seen a new increase of Therian YouTube content, and especially the lockdown caused my recent feed of Therian content after a YouTube search to go out of control. So if you know type Therian in your YouTube channel and go to click to recent, you have a new video every day. I'll quickly post the so sorry, very quick little break while I post these resources in the channel, if I can access my channel. Okay, I can't find it for some reason. Hello. Okay, yeah, I will go on. I'll post them afterwards in the research channel because I can't find my notes on the list that I want to post. So after the panel, I'll post a list of all the channels I've named and all the YouTubers I've named in the research channel of the Othercon. Okay, so the history of YouTube in a very short format, because there's probably a lot more to talk about this, but I couldn't find a lot of details and I didn't want to focus too much on the details for this panel, honestly. Um, I might do that next year if I feel it fits better in the panel overview. This increase of Therian content over the years that I just talked about, of course, brings us a lot of cringe compilations, and that's what I exactly want to talk about right now. It's unsure to me when Otherkin, Therian, or Ultium cringe compilations exactly started, but I could find back a few that dated back to 2015. Just as Otherkin A Dose of Bakeries by A Dose of Bakeries, and Tumblr cringe compilation, which actually contained Otherkin cringe and nothing Tumblr related, by Doppler Vision. Out of personal experience, I believe cringe compilations only started after 2013, but I'm not completely sure about this fact. Likely, they got heavily influenced, however, or encouraged by the Help I Think I'm an Animal documentary featuring Naya Okami in 2013. Partly, I believe it is as I've seen nearly no such cringe compilation without Naya's bark as one of the main acts, so to speak. So this documentary likely brought some light about the topic of Otherkin to the world outside of our community, and that way it made us targets of cringe compilations. In personal experiences, I'd also like to add that I've seen nearly none or straight out non-Therian cringe compilations instead of other cringe compilation, I mean then, before 2016. So based on that information, I think actually that the word Therian wasn't as widely known until 2016 rather than Otherkin, even though Therians got just lumped into Otherkin, of course. However, the good news, I will say, is that in recent years, cringe compilations actually have become a lot less focused on Otherkin, Therian, or other parts of Alto Human. In fact, we see a lot of new cringe compilations, videos of in the style of compilations, I mean, then every few months. So, to be clear, only like one every few months of cringe compilations, which is a lot less than about weekly in 2016 when I started my YouTube channel. Sadly enough, with the popularity of TikTok and the increasing TikTok users who are Therian, I must say that Therian TikTok cringe compilations have become a very regular and nearly weekly sight. I found it a bit sad, of course, because a lot of those TikToks aren't even actual Therians, usually. Not that I want to judge it, but often there's like this activity. I'm not sure how I should call it, but there's like this activity on TikTok to pretend you're a kinny or a kin, but none of them are actual Otherkin. It's just like a joke. So those are also lumped into those Otherkin TikTok cringe compilations and give a very wrong side of what and who we actually are. But yeah, before TikTok, I couldn't find any other cringe compilations for months usually, and I found that a really big achievement. Despite the cringe compilations, look around the corner, they're having quite a few big, well-known and famous Therian YouTubers. I'm far from the only one. And few of these are actually well-known and have had thousands of subscribers often. Sadly, they either abandoned it, I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly, their Therian YouTube channel, deleted all of their videos, or even deleted their entire channel. I'm sure that most of you, especially those active since 2016 or before that, may have heard of at least one of those. Adrian Ashby, by example, Adrian Ashby, whoa, difficult name, well known for creating Therian music videos on the soundtrack of Omnia. Omnia has like a lot of animal-inspired songs that a lot of Therians enjoy. Lila Stratman, Lila Stratman, now known as Scooby-Doo's This is a tongue twister. Lila Stratman, now known as Scooby-Doo's mom, well known for their funny and mocking videos, and the song Ode to White Souls, which was recovered and will be posted in the research channel. Therian, known for having had great potential to become a big informative channel, but sadly deleted all of their content. Kodak the Kettle Dog, known for their funny shifting videos and fast-growing channel, who was also known as Lay the Terra, I think. Terra a hyena and then a cattle dog. Some of you probably know her. And Coda the Therian, who had more than 2,000 subscribers in less than 2 months. Imagine I worked like 3 or 2 years for 2,000 subscribers. They had it in 2 months. Because of their very enthusiastic content, actually. Fox Sky, who was known for their day in the life of Therian sketch and plenty of videos, and Kin Sisters, a couple of Spanish Therians who owned a huge and popular Therian YouTube channel who sadly deleted their entire channel altogether, so I cannot link them. There are also still quite a few active YouTube channels, despite all of those I've named who sadly deleted all of their content, but are still very well known for what they achieved. Or channels who are still active until recently and might still become active again, so their YouTube is not dead yet. Some of those channels may however be known to only bring out a video every few months or years, such as by example the famous Raven White Feather, previously known as Raven the Wolf. I'll name them here for you, but a link can be found in the researchers channel afterwards. Researchers channel, whoa. Terranation is run by Elfrief and Ulfulf is a very well-known grey muzzle and well-respected community member, so you probably know them from somewhere. They're known for their news updates and serious content, and you also have Terran Guide, run by a staff member or multiple staff members of the firms, which posts podcast episodes on Terran Trophy. Manx Polyterran is a Terran YouTuber aiming for Polyterran only content. Even though they announced recently to me that they don't plan on creating new content, I still wanted to include them. Azure Dragon Feather, though they mostly create Wiccan, pagan, and related content, they also have created a few alter-human content videos, like something about third types and kin types and being a dragon otherkin. Bloody Rose, Bloody Rose Wolfpack. Oh, apologies. A well-known Terran pack, Moonlight Shadow, who seems to work actually with real wolves as a wolf Terran. Hadida pack, a well-known UK Terran pack. So they delete all of their old content, they'll create new content once the COVID pandemic is actually over. And conversation with other related discussions, even though they also said they stopped their channel, still wanted to include them. Raven Whitefeather, as previously said, the previous biggest YouTube channel with like 5,000 subscribers as well, who is very well known among all of us, and Inora Fallon, pretty much as widely known as Raven Whitefeather for similar reasons. You also then have Shadowpack Terran Holland, a Dutch Terran pack which creates Dutch only videos, and Dashura Terran pack creating quality French Terran content that I would really advise looking into. In general, I would really strongly recommend any and all of those channels to you guys, and I recommend you to keep an eye open for no promising Terran YouTube channels in the future, because we are far from the end of the Terran YouTube channel time park. I will once again link all of those in the research channel right after the panel or during the channel question round. So sorry if any of you guys already asked the question in the chat. I cannot reply because of being stressed out and not being able to really combine both right now. But I'll give you some time after the panel. This might actually be interesting to some of you who specifically came here for this part of the panel. I'd like to give some advice on becoming a Terran YouTuber yourself, or if you have become a Terran YouTuber but don't know where to go with your channel or how to improve. In general, there's first off the camera. First of all, you of course need some form of camera to be able to film yourself. For starters, I could really recommend a good phone with a 180p HD camera. 4K is a bit high for now. Preferably held horizontally so you can actually fill up the YouTube screen properly. And later on, you could probably upgrade to any form of a mirror camera, such as a Canon or a Nikon, or a smaller digital camera of any brand you can really imagine. I recommend actually to look at secondhand websites or ask any of your family members if any of them maybe owns one that you could pay over. My camera, a Canon 700T, was from my niece, and that way I could not only test it out before I purchased it, but also did save a lot of money, like at least half of it, throughout the process. This camera is still going strong today, 4 years later, or maybe even 5, because after all, most people who purchase cameras will replace them with a new one only a few years later because of the newer models having higher quality or more functions. But the old cameras are often still in perfect condition, and I won't know why you wouldn't buy them really. Personally, I've also purchased the Panasonic Lumix DMC LX100 Pro, which is an award-winning digital camera because I film a lot of termites, and carrying a heavy mirror camera for 6+ hours becomes quite draining and exhausting. For informative YouTube content, I actually advise you to research for a camera with a screen that you can turn around. So nothing with like a built-in screen, like built-in in the body. So something you can actually switch open and shut and turn around. You kind of know what I mean, hopefully. That way you can actually see yourself when you film. This will save you a lot of costs in a separated screen you will buy, or a lot of time whenever you have to refilm yourself because your head is just cut off in the frame because you couldn't see yourself while you filmed. As a microphone, generally, any phone microphone should be of enough quality for a beginning YouTuber, and even most high quality cameras will have a decent microphone. I still don't own a microphone myself because I simply don't have the money to, or whenever I do have the money, I'm just too afraid to buy it because I'm afraid to buy the wrong one. The only big issue you might really walk against without a physical microphone is that wind, background noise, and so forth are often very present in videos in this case. And of course, the quality will not be the absolute best. For editing software, as a starting YouTuber, I just straight on upload my videos to YouTube. I didn't edit them. But if you record very long videos or want to come over professional and maybe want to entertain your audience with pictures or something, You may want to you may want to use some editing software to keep your videos interesting, remove any stops and ums or sentences you said multiple times in a row to get like that one word right that you couldn't pronounce. Um, there are several free softwares on the internet. I cannot certainly link any because I simply lack the experience with them, so I wouldn't be able to say which one is good or bad. But most certainly include a watermark, so it's recommended to look for something that doesn't include a watermark or a paid end somewhere. I know that Macs and Apple computers actually have iMovie, and that one can also edit videos and it's really high quality, so I would recommend just using this one if you own a Mac. And Photoshop, by example, can also edit videos, even though it's not the highest quality. It's a cheap option because many of us already own Photoshop for whatever reason, maybe for school or something. Another solution, which I went by myself, is to purchase Premiere Pro from Adobe or Avid Media Composer, by example, through a student discount, which makes it only like a $50 or $90 a year instead of like a $300. You can also often share this account that you bought of the editing software with like about 3 computers across the world, so you can actually split the costs with 3 friends. As far as this may be legal or not, I'm honestly not completely sure, so you may want to look into it first. But I have a lot of friends who just one of them buys editing software at a student discount and then shares their accounts with 3 of their friends for free or for a small help in funds. After you have recorded actually a video, very nice, I'm very proud of yourself. Next is actually the channel itself. Advice to put the word Therian a lot in anything you really make at start, because this makes your channel and video easier to be found. A name such as Code the Therian, by example, kinda hideous, but it can easily be found online and you can always change it later on when you have your first subscribers in. But the word Therian in your put the word Therian in your title, description, channel description, and anything else to make it easily to be found. I found that tags don't really do anything to make it easy to be found, but you can always use it in the text of the video. You can also create a very catchy and recognizable thumbnail. For thumbnails, you can also use online edit programs or like pre-made thumbnails you can find on Google. I personally use Canvas. Last but not least, you need time. Time to edit, time to record, to research the topics properly before you actually make the video and then regret what you make, and to moderate your comments to keep the trolls out. Or, like me, actually talk with the trolls to try to achieve some kind of middle ground with them, which is actually surprisingly effective. Besides basic requirements to start a YouTube channel, I also have some few extra tips. I'd want to kindly ask you to ask additional questions in the chat afterwards, must your question not be included yet in those tips specifically. Generally, I advise to keep your videos under 10 minutes long, because I don't think many people want to watch long videos. I also advise to create a catchy opening and end phrase, like, "Hi everyone, welcome back in a brand new video of PinkDolphin, yep, that's me," that you keep throughout your videos all the time, so people can recognize your video. Also, a catchy introduction video is a nice idea. However, be careful to not use any copyrighted material, such as songs with copyright on. While I still use those every now and then, like in my Therian videos, you must be aware that if you use any non-copyrighted material, any copyrighted material, this can be taken down by the YouTube channel at any time. Meaning that if your introduction of your video includes a copyrighted song, and this maker decides to put any video using the song down, you lose all of your videos. I would also advise to ask permission in Discord groups and aminos to advertise your channel or videos, and create a personal Twitter or Instagram account to boost your channel and your followers. I also advise to be careful on how you handle trolls. If you cannot stand the negativity, I'd advise to just straight on block them and yeet them from your channel. But in my personal experience, it's been a lot more productive to just talk to them actually. Take them serious, explain, even if they're scolding at you, take them serious. And a lot will actually reply at the end with, "Oh my god, I'm sorry, I wasn't myself." Literally, I've had that answer so many times. People will apologize for their actions. And that's actually a better outcome than you blocking them and them sending their friends to you or creating a new account to annoy you again. Holding a pocketbook with topics and ideas is actually a very good idea for starting YouTuber, because then that way you can write down any idea you have and not be very likely to run out of ideas. I do this myself as well. I also advise to keep a positive relationship with your watchers, reply on comments, reach out, answer PMs. This might actually help the growth of your channel a lot and lead to amazing friendships and give a really good reputation. Because if you're a very toxic YouTuber, this will be known across the community and will be not for your benefit or the benefit of your channel. So that was my YouTube channel. So that was my YouTube panel. I really hope I could answer some of your questions already surrounding time YouTube, give you some things to think about, some nice information. And I'd like to give you some time right now to actually ask some questions in the chat so I can answer those for you. If you have any need for tips or advice, by example, or you didn't understand a certain part of my panel and you want me to explain it more differently or anything else, just ask in the panel chats or in the
Real quick, I don't want to ruin this for everybody, but push to talk is enabled. You didn't suppress people.
yeah, that could be possible. I think it's easier though to keep the questions to the chat because
let's just keep it like that for now.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more overlooking.
I do want to point out that there are
Yeah?
I mean, you already mentioned video editors that are free. There are a couple that I know of. There's Caden Live and there's Olive Video Editor. Both of these, Olive is in a bit of an alpha state right now, but it's still very functional. Caden Live is another one that's completely free open source kind of deal, and it's definitely suitable to make YouTube videos with. I personally don't like working with it, but that's just me being fussy. It works just fine.
Yeah, I can imagine. What you could do, you could always link them to me in PM or something, and I can include them in the research channel, like the resources. I can't really pronounce it.
I'll see if I can find them.
Of course. Clover, what are some good first topics to cover on an Othercon YouTube channel? First off, an introduction is always nice to have, so people know who you are. I actually never really made an introduction, I think, so oops. General, the first definitions, of course, like what is a Therian or what is an Otherkin, is always nice to have on your channel, so people know what to expect when they are on your channel, or know what they stumbled onto. Your personal experiences might be also very nice to share, your personal journey, by example, as well. So as first topics, I would just generally take some very general, obvious topics like what are my stereotypes, what are my shifts, what are my experiences, or if you want to be informational instead of experience related, like I am more, by example, you can try to make some informative videos on them. I wouldn't start with too complex topics yet at start, things like how gender or tantraphy can be interwoven or influence each other. That might be a bit too difficult to start with as a starting YouTuber. Got to put the name of the program in the chat. You mean the program I use or the person actually advised? Because I just use Premiere Pro in Adobe, which I usually, which I only pay $50 per year for.
I'll go ahead and put my programs that I recommended in panel chat.
Yeah, sure.
There we
go. A year.
I also PMG them. I'm honestly very much a fan of making content with only free open source software. And when that free open source software is actually capable of doing it, you
Yeah.
know you're on a good path.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I got a Premiere Pro through my school back in the day, so I just kind of went with that automatically because I did a multimedia school previously of being a Therian YouTuber. If anyone else still has any questions related to something they wonder about or something they need advice on, just post in the chat. Really, we still have 10 minutes left.
I would honestly advise against
Yeah.
against getting the Adobe suite because sure it's industry standard, but you're going to be locked into it. Sure you'll get jobs with it, but if you're trying to make YouTube your job, you should probably be using your own software that's
Yeah.
a workflow you agree with, not some companies. That's just me though.
Um. Meanwhile, also see if I can find where has it gone? Very weird. I made some notes in like a personal Discord um group to like post in the resources, but I lost it somehow, so I'll post it later on. Any other active large Therian Altrium and YouTubers that you recommend? I actually recommend quite a lot. I've made a whole list with them, and I was going to post them in resources, but somehow I just cannot find them right now. My notations. I will post it in there in a second. I will just kind of annoying. Advice on becoming comfortable talking to a camera. That is something even I, after 4 years, still struggle with. I cannot record the video when someone else is in the room, by example. I still feel really awkward doing so. What I generally just advise is talking to yourself a lot, talking in the mirror a lot, preparing a video, thinking about what you want to say, and just saying that like 1,000 times before you actually record the video. Um, that's really the best thing you can do. What you can also try to do is actually put a camera in front of you, not turned on, and already start pretending as if you're recording a video. That way, some of us don't feel the pressure of the camera recording, but can already prepare for it. What do you think of the YouTube caption situation I've been posting? I found it really annoying. Personally, I use the community YouTube captions a lot for my videos because I have like 350 videos right now, and a lot of them don't have captions, and my English isn't the best, and certainly wasn't 3 years ago. It was horrible. So I want to add captions on a lot of them to make them understandable to the public who still watches them for whatever reason. And I have then this team right now of people who help me out with creating captions, and instead, in return, they get credit, and like I have a personal Discord where they can be in to talk and everything. So I have those people who are willing to help me out with captions, but now suddenly by September it's gone. I have to do everything on my own, and I'm not really happy with it because I use it a lot. It was really helpful for me. I have heard they're going to like advise third-party custom caption creators, but I have the feeling it will be paid, so I'm not a fond of it. I'm not a fan of it. What are 1,000 animated videos like ones made by? I love them. I watch a lot of animated videos, and I personally wanted to actually make those instead of the videos I make now, but that just take too much time and they're really difficult, so I couldn't. I want to create like stills so I can make some videos with like not human me talking, but art me talking, like a dog, by example. I have high respect for them, really. If anyone creates some animations, do it. You're amazing. um,
How do you think the algorithms affected your channel?
uh, algorithm. Actually, I'm not completely sure because I'm not that well known in things like algorithm. But I do find that if you type in Therian right now in YouTube, I fill up like 60% of the front screen. And I'm not sure if I actually like that because I feel like other people's content is just as good and important sometimes. And I'm afraid that everyone just directly goes to me, which I don't exactly prefer, of course. Um,
Just so you
but yeah,
know,
I certainly noticed that.
the algorithm actually is based on your YouTube account as well, so it might actually just be pulling up your videos.
Hmm?
The search results might differ for other people. So
Ah, yeah, I see. Uh, I don't really know then why it shows me a lot of my own videos because I mean, I watched them once after uploading, but
yeah,
yes.
I still get your videos recommended to be quite a lot. After I've watching theory and stuff like that. But yeah,
Hmm?
you get recommended to be quite a bit.
Yeah, I appreciate that actually.
Yeah, you make
I
some
think
great content.
thank you. I am personally not always fond of what I've created because I have like a few videos which I personally really don't look down upon. Like I have a video 10 term problems, by example, and I personally hate that video. It's not really representative of the term community, and the problems aren't actual problems. But I just leave it up because it seems to entertain some people, and it also is the main, like, it brings a lot of new subscribers, and I mean, I couldn't say no to that, of course. But at least I'm very happy that a lot of people actually enjoy my content because, as I said in the panel itself, the lecture kind of thing, I put a lot of time in there, and I really want to make like a community channel more than like a PD channel, which is also why I have no me videos, like videos talking about myself, because I find it important to be as one of the only currently active YouTubers to be able, like, really active YouTubers to be able to make content for the community rather than just for myself or my personal gain, by example. I get pity in Azure for the critters. Good. Yeah, actually, I love Krita as well. There's a variety. Any tips on finding somewhere to film? Depends on if you're living in a city or in a forest. I have the luck to live in a forest for most of the time when I'm not at university, because then, of course, I'm at the other side of the country. But whenever I'm at my parents or at my partner, by example, there's like a forest nearby, I just grab my camera, go in there, and film whenever I feel ready to. If you live at home without being able to go outside, like, for example, you live in a city, I recommend waiting until your parents are just gone because that's usually the best moment to record yourself because no one can interrupt you or you don't feel as ashamed to record yourself actually. But generally, I understand that's a really big problem when you want to record yourself, especially if you don't feel you have the place to or your family might judge you when you do so. Good light is also need a big issue. I have no artificial lights. My house in the forest is like 100 years old and has nearly no lights. And my student dorm also has like those really old, really dark yellow lights. So I can only record myself when it's daytime. So especially during university, when you only come home when it's already dark, I can't really record a lot of videos. Go to a video and voiceover later on. Yeah, best way to deal with too much shading lighting during filming. Um, I personally don't have a lot of advice on this because I have the same issue constantly. You can reduce this a bit in editing software like Premiere Pro, by example. But you usually have the problem to become too dark as a video or too light as a video. So it's really just trying and hoping it will turn out right. If you have a lot of experience, of course, you may not struggle with this anymore, but I still struggle with it a lot. I'm going to round up the panel because I am almost out of time. Second charge. Okay.
Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
How do you feel about using things like face rig in the case of people who might be too dysphoric to record their actual body?
base work. What is base work?
Face rig.
Sorry, what?
It's face rig is an animation thing that basically allows you to use your face and it'll track it, and you can put different things over it, like a 3D model and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Face
so like
rig.
an animal on the screen will talk instead of your human
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in chat. It's called face rig, like that.
Yeah, I really appreciate seeing that because I really love this kind of content and I wanted to use it myself as well, maybe, but I'm not sure yet if I will ever use it. But I still recommend it for anyone who doesn't feel comfortable with sharing their face. Okay, bon, ça va. Thank you all for so much for listening to my first ever panel. Well, I did one yesterday with Kara as a Therianthropy discussion, but this time I was alone. I was really nervous. I shaked a lot. So I'm really thankful to you all for listening and I hope to see you next year. And before you all go, I just want to say woof PD because I love it. So yeah, thank you for watching all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So that's gonna be it for this panel. Let me find what we're doing next. So next is going to be a art stream by Wolfo for about 3 hours, and that's gonna be in panel 2. I think it's actually going on already right now. If you guys want to go ahead and head over there and see what's going on over there, or you guys can go ahead and hit back to the general VC, do whatever you guys want to. Oh, it's not in the panel 2 currently. All right. I guess the next panel then will be at 2 o'clock, which will be Let's Talk Body Modification by Tink. So I'll see you guys then, and have a good time, y'all.
See you then, Miles.
See you.
You sound a bit like a airplane pilot over the
Oh, I hope so. I'm trying to
PA.
pilot you guys around.
Alright, I'm gonna turn push to talk off and then go in general.
Actually, the link for the Wolfo's art stream is currently in announcements. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch what they're doing, it'll be up there.